What up, what up, what up? Bankroll Tim bedded up. Look at that, y'all. That's a GN right there. 87. V6 turbo. You see that piping up in that real well. See them big ass brakes on there. So, we got all this QA1 suspension. So I'm gonna play the role of a parts changer on this job. I'm gonna be unbolting all this old stock business and putting on the QA1 coilovers. It's got a 450 spring for the front. As of right now, I don't see any thrust bearings, but I keep them stocked up over there. We got the double adjustable rear control arms right there, uppers and lowers. Got a set of tie bars right here with all the hardware. The sway bar, front sway bar stuff. It's got the narrowed, the big wheel front sway bar. It's got the narrowed rear sway bar that clamps on. That'd be my first messing with that to see how that goes on. Excuse me. That's the front one. This is the back one. It's got those little hung joints. We got the QA1 front upper control arms. Let's see what we got down here. We just got the bolts. We got the lower control arms. This is the front shock. That's the other front shock. See how the back is. The back is a bolt in. Like I said, it's all bolt in. So, check with these springs. This spring says it's a 200. And it should be perfect. And then it's got all the brackets. And then I wonder what shock. I wonder what shock it is. So, yeah. Alright. So, it had. Don't worry. That's rubber on. That's not rim to rim. But, anyways. This is the rim. Was on the front, which is a 245/30 ZR 2292WXL on the front. So let's see if this has got a marking. No, it's a, what is it, a two-piece wheel, y'all? Three-piece wheel. I don't know what brand it is. But, yeah, so anyways, let's lean it up against this one. So, that's the front one, which I do believe is a by 9, 10 overall. And we have the back right here, which is a 24. That was on it. So let's see what side. Oh, 275, 25, ZR 24, 96W, whatever, XL. So this is a 24 by 10, 11 overall. And of course, no markings. I mean, it might say ET in there somewhere in their engraving, but most of the time the engraving is just serial number. So, I mean, got a decent little lift to it. And it was bolted straight on there. But anyways, put that back over there. So, as you can see, what's on the car right here is a billet. And let's see, we got 255/30 ZR 2295WXL, blah blah. What I want to see is we can see that there's more lip here than the front one. So this one, same size tire, right? 245/30 ZR 22. What did I say? This one was 255, right? 255. Okay. So yeah, because the rim is a little narrower. So this is a by 9, 10 overall. I think. Let's double check that. 20. Let's see. So you guys can see everything with me. It says. It just says 22. I don't see no stampings for offset. ET, anything like that. Okay. Jaden, grab me tape measure. Tape measure I just had right there. Go across the top of this tire. This might just be 9, so this might be a 22 by 8, 9 overall. So let's see.
9.
Yeah, so it's a 22 by 8. It's gonna be 9 overall. Booyah. All right, bring that tape back. And this one right here. So we go from back edge of rim, boom, 10. So this is a by 9, 22 by 9, so it's 10 overall. And then you got the 255 and 245. So that makes up the difference, so it looks somewhat the same on the side, so it's not too far stretched in. You know what I'm saying? If you had a 245 on the front and a 245 on the back rim being an inch wider would stretch it way over. So I think they did good on tire. I mean, the front, you know, does square up a little more. So to make it look like the back, I know there's a lot more size of tires in 22s and 20s. So this, you could have went 235, or I would have I left that because that's a good sidewall look. I'm pretty sure they have a 265. I would have put a 265, 30 on the back. Then it would be just that little bit more out to look like that one. I know there's a lot of times in my videos, people are always like, man, what size tire? And I'd be forgetting what size tires. So now I'm trying to get into showing everything, show the tires, stuff like that, the offsets. So that way, you know, somebody's building. Like I said, I always do it to try to teach. That's why I do the videos. So it's got the original 8.5 in it. The car is very, very clean. From having the 24s on the back, you can see caught the trim here a little bit, caught the trim there, bent it out right here. So I'm gonna tap this in the best I can to straighten it out. This side don't have a single rub inside there, and the other side does, and that comes into play with the stock control arms and all the stock bushings and the wear from the years, the dry rot, stuff like that. I don't know if you guys seen that, but see this? Air shocks. I swear to God, the next thing posted about, oh yeah, air shocks and G-body springs on a box Chevy is the perfect way to tuck, and oh, it's inexpensive. Dude, these are straight trash. Oh yeah, you want to squat, but then you want to run these air shocks and put air in them to make up the difference because the G-body spring is too short for a box Chevy, way too short. And then these are junk, no control at all, and then single valve. So you got one valve right here. So when there's more pressure put on this side of the car, where does it push the air to? Pushes the air to that shock and stretches that side of the car up more. Makes no sense. They used to sell them back in the day with 2 valves, so that way you could preload the car, stuff like that, like airbags in the springs. For racing, you would preload the right spring more for launching and shit like that. But anyways, this side, as you can see, the rim caught, or the tire caught right there, nasty. This side ain't too bad, but a little bit. It caught right here real good. Caught right there real good. I didn't catch the front though. But yeah. So no notching involved in this. Just straight up parts changing. And then of course my custom alignment on the front. We were gonna put the QA1 tie rod sleeves on here, but they're those. Where did I put them? Right here. The coloring of these, and you guys have seen these before. These, they just like to corrode real bad. You know, the Pro 4 is the best way to go with this stuff because the Pro 4 stuff is all powder coated. So this is Moog, which is not powder coated. So all that stuff he's gonna get, bring it a later time. So we'll do it at another time. So right now I'm not gonna put those sleeves on there because there's no point messing with that. I mean, I'll loosen them up to do the tone and go out. Obviously the camera catcher, so when I do the alignment. But yeah, the big brakes, I don't know who put them on. So we got half-inch stud on the front, because of course with the wheelwood hub, these wheels have how they're, the cap is popped out, so you know they actually fit, you know, not like the 4G autos and stuff like that where you gotta run it without the cap and grind on the spindle shaft to get it to clear, or ride a spacer on the front, which makes the wheel stick out more, and then you gotta cut more, and you know. So wheels need to have, I know back in the day I seen it with an adapter that you would take your floating center cap out or your stock center cap out, and it would be a cap that popped in there, and then you pop your center back in there, and it would pop it out some, so that way it would clear the front stuff. And I know there's people like, oh, well yeah, use the S10 hub style spindle, oh this and that. Yeah, but you can't do that with this. You can't do it with the wheelwoods. Come on, y'all. I think a lot of people just want to yap, and some really just don't think that far into it. But yeah, with me frame notching and all that and all the shit that's being said, good lord. But all right, y'all, this thing does sound good, but it's not tuned. So it came on the flatbed, and it will be leaving on the flatbed. So the most it'll get is moved out, turned around on the driveway, and be able to go right back on the flatbed. So, all right, y'all, I'll get back to it. Bet it up. All right, back on it. On the GN. Look at that, y'all. I got the lowers, the spindles, the springs, the sway bar links, the shocks. Got all that taken out. One man. About 23 minutes. Here, so those crybabies about the lines, look, they're zip tied. It's zip tied, y'all. Yep, still gotta get the uppers out of there. This car I don't have to take this bolt out because, I better not speak too soon. I might have to take it out to get the, looks like the header is real close to it. But, yeah, same thing on this side. They asked me if I'll clean this up a little bit. Oh wait, that's a patch. That's a piece of metal right there. Dude, look at that. What's really going on? Look, you see that? That's the first time I've ever seen no shit like that, y'all. And you know what? I don't know, it doesn't look like it has any wrinkles. What's up with that? Just as a factory mistake. I don't know. But it only had one rubber on top of the spring, but that don't mean shit. Somebody could have changed the springs at one time. So see, only one rubber that came down. And then this side too. Oh no, look, that same mark, same thing as on this side. I wonder, it's got to be factory, right? I've never seen this on a G-body frame before. Never. And it does have that factory, some factory ugly as well. It's not all boogered and popcorned up, but you know. But anyways, yeah, this side, see, no rubber. But yeah, I can clean that up a little bit. I'll just clean it up or have my kid hit it with the drill right there with the bristle head on it. And I got some satin black. But yeah, back here, I tabbed this back because it was all bent up. I mean, it was bent way up, so I tapped it. I'll be able to put a little paint on there. The chrome, is, you know, it's got the black on it because it's GM, so it's full of rubber. But I had to tap it back right here, and of course, the paint is just peeling off there. But Ain't nothing for him to get some new, oh yeah, see it's already chipped on the side anyways. He can get some new black trims for it. And I don't know, were these cars, were they a gloss with the car? Or were they like a, kind of a flat? Whatever, anyways, well, and then this car, look, it's still got, what is this called, the rock chip? I don't know if it came like this, somebody did something, I don't know. But yeah, so there we are, y'all. On to the next step. I'll get these up as well, but it's a little late out here in the garage. The shiz out. I'm probably gonna take it in. I wonder if those calipers are gonna be all right though. Yeah. Anybody know if these are gonna be all right? I mean, I don't know if that's gonna be all right. Man. Intercooler. Booyah. Out of pots. So yeah, all right, y'all, that's where we're at. Now get back at it. More to come. Bet that up. All right, all right. So I had the first thing on this thing fight with me. First thing. So I bragged about taking that front suspension apart except for the uppers. Well, you see this side? There was no room. Look, you can't get a wrench up there, can't get a wrench here, couldn't get a wrench here. So I took one of my Master Force ratchet wrenches, Menard's wrench. It's a ratchet wrench. And I was trying to bend it, so I heated it up in the vise, and I had it bent so far, and then it broke. So I didn't have it heated enough, but it ended up going up in here. It took a mother trucker to get it all the way up in there on the nut, and then it actually stopped on, I think, this bracket, and yeah, like that. And I was able to hit the impact on this side with the 13/16 and got the bolt to come out. So of course, same thing over here to get up in there, and obviously that's due to the stop control because of how the stop control on it. Anyways, I can't get back up in there, but how tight of an area to try to get that out. So it took me longer to get that out. And I have this tray right here, cart, full of all these old generic ass PM, whatever the hell PM is, Pittsburgh, this, that, whatever. I had all this, not a single 18 and all of that. Not a single 18. So, anyways, first thing to fight with me is that I trimmed up how they had this cut, which I'm probably gonna trim this a little more too, and then angle this, just so it's not close to the downpipe. Like, back here was super close. So if you look at the earlier part of the video, so I trimmed that, trimmed it down. There was a piece that they left right here, that square piece. So I just trimmed it to flow. I'll pop that behind there, but it's gonna rub there because there are 22s on the front. So 22s are going back on it. The fronts were 22s, the backs were 24s, blah, blah. So, and it was really low in the front with the 22s on it. So I'll have it like a stock stance, you know. So this side, we are all in the open to get this one out. So I'll get this one out. So this one I should be able to just, which is crazy, that 18 short ratchet wrench of the Master Force is what I normally would use on these, because my 18 Matco is kind of long and the angle's wrong. But anyways, I should be able to let the car down, go from the top, get both of these out to where I don't have to break the splines on the inside. But if I gotta break the splines, I gotta break the splines. The QA1 arms are wide open in that area. I'll have that cleaned up anyways. And then, like I said, we'll put the arm in there, snug it up, and weld it. So whichever is easier to get out. So most likely it's easier to hold the wrench back here and do the 13/16 out here with the gun, the impact. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, put a little paint on it. Yeah, and then this side, I might trim this to look like that side. It's crazy to look at from Cutlass and Monte Carlo when you notice how different the inner structures are, you know, on the G bodies. But yeah, all right, let me get back to it. Cut that up. All right, cleaned it up, but that's on the shorts with it cleaned up. I forgot to film it for the full video, but this side right here was pitted. The frame was pitted, which you'll see if you look at the beginning part of the video. But that's just some spray can, clean it up. It's still wet. I turned the heater on before I started painting, so that way the heater works as a filter. And what I'm saying is, it sucked the paint over here, and people feel like, oh, why the flame? Look at the, yeah. Like with the grinding. So I'm gonna put an exhaust fan in the wall on the side, so that way when I do the grinding and stuff like that, you know, suck the stuff out. Summertime with the door open and stuff like that, put the rust dust in the air and everything. So you see the floor, you see the rust dust, and you see the overspray sticking to that. This car had a lot of gravel dust in the frame rail, so when I clean it up and then blow it all off and then blow it out, I get in the frame rail and get all that shit out of there. There's a couple rocks, see? Oh, that's a piece of wood. That's a rock. This side, it's gonna flatten out. It's not gonna stay that glossy, and this side looks great. But satin black, Harlon spray paint. Let's see, I get it off of Amazon. Let's see, satin black, matte black, semi-flat. Any of that stuff is going to give you, after it dries, a nice brand new car look of how the inner wheel is. Not too shiny, not too dull. If you use a flat, obviously the flat is just too flat. There's got to be a semi-flat, a matte black, a satin, or at the most a semi-gloss, but that's still too glossy. So a lot of people ask. There it is. Alright, so now while this dries, I'm going to put the car up some more, and I'm going to take the air shocks off there, chuck them, take the springs out, chuck them, and start changing the control arms one by one. And I will take, even though this is on here, I'll take the cap off. I'll take it off and put it to the side. I'll put it back on if I can get it to pop off without breaking it. That's a no-go. But I'll clean this up. That's how I have the back look like this and the front look like that, and then the tub, of course, which I got to paint over this because this is where it was bent way up here from the 24s. So like I said, these wheels were 2s on the front and 4s on the back, and you can see how it chewed up that tire. So they caught a couple times. But yeah, I'm gonna get these air shocks off, get these springs out of here. As of right now, it looks like the narrowed rear bolt-in sway bar should clear the pipes. I think the link will be like right out here. So, all right, y'all, let me get back on it. Let that up. All right. Bet it up. Got the whole front of the car together. Lower control arms, upper control arms. Like I said, a couple weeks he's gonna get the Pro Forge set up. I'm gonna put the Pro Forge setup on there. I had to change upper ball joints from the Pro Touring to the short ones because they ordered the arms Pro Touring, which being 22s, boom, that would be way too much. Hopefully I'll be able to set it down And these are these are 450 springs, so the V6, the turbo, this, that, whatever. Hopefully I only got them twisted up a quarter of an inch. I think I only got like a quarter inch of gap, yeah. So it might sit exactly where we want it to. Yeah. It's all on there. I'm gonna take the sticker off of that side and switch it with that side. Put them, you know, vice versa. So people will be like, oh look, he put the arms on the wrong side. But anyways, so the back, it's still pitted and I sanded it. And then it ran again, fish on again. Oh, there's decent. Oh, it's got dents right there. Anyways, got the lowers off. Like I said, I'm gonna cut these off. The tie bars, like I was saying, there's not enough room for the tie bars. Put those on. This side, you can see, I sanded it. Fish on again. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I feel like shit. I don't know, something just the other day, it just bam, instantly started feeling like shit. The weather, whatever. But yeah, front's all together. The front had 1/2 inch 20 black lug nuts, and when I was putting everything back together, I noticed the studs were turned out, but I was able to get to the studs from the back with the ratchet and the 12-point socket, and I tightened all them up. But the black lug nuts were like, they were just shitty. They didn't want to go on, nothing. I was like, you know what? So I went and dug through my lug nut box, and I grabbed some of the 1/2 20. Well, look, you can see that one's different. But anyways, he just needs to get some lug nuts. And this thing's only got 12mm on the back, some stock axles, that stuff. I don't know how much work is done to the motor, but I wouldn't trust those back studs. So probably get him to suggest putting some aftermarket axles in the back. And obviously 1/2 inch 20 studs in the back. But yeah. Alright, y'all. Couple more little things I'm gonna mess with today, and then get back on it tomorrow. Go give me some rest. About that up. All right. Mango 10, bedded up. Still feel like shit, y'all. Feel like shit. Anyways, me and the wife put the control arms all in, and all that shit tightened up. Now, like I said, I gotta cut these off, grind it, because the clamps of the narrow rear sway bar. That shit's gotta go on there. And then, like I said, these pieces go, you know, right in this area. So that way the links. So then I gotta get this set, but you gotta get the sway bar mounted first on the axle. So where you can figure out where this needs to go, because you need to be somewhat straight. And then put it up there, put your dot on there with a paint marker or something, and drill the hole. So then, what we got over here is what me and the wife just did, put these together, and it was a pain in the ass because they give you the shock with the T-bar in it. They don't give you the shock without the T-bar in it, so that way you can put it all together easy. You gotta take the T-bar out, so that means you gotta have snap ring pliers, which I have snap-on snap ring pliers, right? But of course, my biggest one, the tip, that's one right there. They're way smaller than that hole, so why is the C-clip, snap ring, whatever the hell, why the hole gotta be so damn big? But anyways, you had to take that apart, slide it out to put the spring and everything together. And then you can see how much there is for bolting. Got a lot of work. But this set actually has a better setup. A lot more adjustment, I guess. Maybe the other ones have had that much adjustment. I just don't pay that much attention. But these aren't double adjustable, so level 3, level 1, and level 2. But how the hell that shit goes? You know what I mean? I'm a Viking man. But alright, we're about to get this stuff bolted up in the back of this thing. And the next step. So yeah. Alrighty, y'all. Back on it. Tried scuffing that and painting it again. And I scuffed it and painted it, and it came right back. Both spots. All the shorts that I put up about it, and the reels on Facebook and stuff like that, and the comments. Comments are crazy with the people that are just so negative about everything. Oh, you should have done this. Oh, you should have done that. Oh my God. Oh, this and that. Well, spray can in the cold. How many times does this do this to me? Maybe 1 out of 10 times. So 9 out of 10 times I don't have a problem. That's the look of it dry. So it's a satin, which I think looks way better than a gloss, obviously. And it looks way better than a flat. Flats look like you went and put charcoal in a gun and sprayed it on there. So flats are just too flat. I want it to look like it's a brand new car wheel well. And that's the look. That might be a little bit shiny, but all the different stuff. Semi-gloss, semi-flat, matte, satin. This happened to be satin because that was the best price on Amazon this time. 6 cans, like I said, 6 cans for like 43 bucks shipped, but I do have Amazon Prime, so there you go. All right, let me get these coilovers bolted on, and then I can square up the rear end, and with the rear end squared up, then I can get the sway bar put in place and figure out where I'm gonna drill those holes. All right, y'all, GM, work in progress. Gotta have it done for tomorrow. All right. Bet it up. Back on it. Check this out. So they give you, oh, this is for you bolt-on guys. And I know there's plenty of you guys that, you know, don't weld and don't have a welder available and you buy this bolt-on stuff. Now, this is a bolt-on kit, and everybody acts like, oh yeah, bolt-on. Oh man, you can bolt it right on, no problem, blah, blah, blah. Now, they give you all the instructions. Okay, give you all the instructions. That's good. Does it tell you got to re-drill any holes or make any holes bigger, stuff like that? No, it does not. So, with all this and all these damn parts, right? So, it had me thinking I had shit on wrong and backwards and this and that. So, this side, as you can see, it is all together. Now, what I did is, I set it in the middle. So, one hole down, you see how this bracket is L-shaped this way, but you could also flip it. You know what I'm saying? This could go up here and give you another height, and you can go up the hole, gives you another height, and go down for some to make it lower. I went ahead and set it at the middle settings, but this one I want to talk about right here, this back bolt. Now, these are aftermarket arms, all right, but they still take the same bolt, the 12 millimeter, but it's got a 3/4 nut and 3/4 bolt, but it's still the same metric hole that's on there, and that's what this bracket excuse me, is for, right? So in order to get this bolt to line up, believe me, I thought I had the bracket on a couple different ways. Here it is over here again. Now this is what I had to do. As you can see, that hole is on there. That's in there. I went ahead and, no, I didn't tighten it up yet. But you can see how far it's off. Now you're like, well, why is it off? Did I do something wrong? So what I did is, I tapped it over with a hammer on that side. That didn't push it over. Look, it's not going where it needs to go. And I'm not purposely doing this. So, anyways, lost it out the drill. Was a fucked up bit on there. And I sat here trying to drill that motherfucker, and it drilled it on an angle, which whatever. I got the nut and bolt that's supplied with the washers on there, in there, and tighten the shit out of it. All right, but it doesn't tell you that. So when they made this bracket, did they forget to add in some specs for like welding or for this crease, right? Because that crease would change the distance between this hole and that hole, right? This little bend. So somebody didn't do their job, right? And you don't hear anybody talk about this. And that's what I hate about stuff. I don't mind doing the bolt-in shit. I don't care about the bolt-in shit. I don't care for it. I'd rather weld shit in. I'm a welder, blah, blah, blah. But they don't tell you this. And nobody wants to talk about that shit. And I run across stuff, and anytime I want to talk and speak about the shit, I'm crying. So, for all you, oh, here, let me not stop there. So that's set up in the top. How you put the ring in there, and that ring makes it stronger, that plate. But them bolts didn't fit in them holes. It doesn't tell you in there that you got to re-drill these holes for them bolts to go through. So I had to re-drill those holes for them bolts to go through. But I double checked first. I walked over with the bolts. I'm like, oh, they don't fit. The wife was reading the instructions. That's nasty. It doesn't say anything about re-drilling the holes. She's like, no. The only thing it says is about cleaning the debris away or whatever so this plate sits flat. Well, that plate doesn't even really sit flat in there. You have to tighten it to crush it. And that's the other thing. Why would you have to clean the debris if you're putting a plate in there and it's crushing it? It's not like it's something that's going to determine a height difference. If this was an 1/8 inch off, it's not going to hurt you on height. Anyway, I got some dirt in my eye. I'm pissed off. I've been pissed off. Oh, so as I was tightening it, this damn metal heat shield for that, as I was tightening that bolt right there, can't see with my band-aid on, but we had to cut a chunk of skin off of my finger because it split it and peeled it. So I think it's on the floor here somewhere. It's somewhere around here. Like, this wasn't gonna show us. He fucked his shit up. Anyways, there's the band-aid. Da-da-da. Rip my shit. Anyways, alright. So, anything else more I gotta complain about? This is gonna go over here more, so it should clear the exhaust. Stock shock was there. This side, boom, it's clearing so far there. I still got something in my eye. I have some dirt, rust, something. So yeah, bolt in, have a drill ready, have drill bits ready if you're doing a bolt-in setup. Don't think that you did something wrong because the shit ain't lining up, it just ain't lining up. But something was not built correctly or somebody didn't put enough thinking into it for that to fit properly. And like I said, there's so many people out there that are parts changers that do this and you don't hear nobody talk about it. So you parts changers, step up and start talking about what you had to do to get the shit to fit. Don't just say, oh yeah, ooh, and I'm a dealer and this and that, buy it for me. Just bolt it in. No, you need a drill and some drill bits, motherfuckers. All right, let me get back to this. I'll have all this shit hooked up so I can put this sway bar on. Bet that up, be right back. All right, check it out, y'all. Booyah. This is what, I set it down the first time, and then I had to pick it back up, and I only had that 1/4 inch gap between the lock plate and the adjustment collar on the coilover in the front. So I had a 1/4 inch. Now I went up a 1/2 inch, so now I'm at 3/4 inch of a gap on the bottom of the adjustment collar and the lock collar on the coilovers, and they have a 450 spring in the front of the V6 car. I know I say that like V6 car, yes. Turbo, it's a Grand National V6 car, meaning that so many people nowadays have switched cars over to LS, blah, blah, so I say V6. Boom. This car, like right now, I have this wheel damn near straight up and down, but if you look at the back to the front, so maybe it's the fender curve that's throwing it off. Well, I guess if I'm looking at it on camera, if I look at it without looking at it on camera, it looks like the top of the wheel is out. But anyways, just did the alignment, and here is what's fucked up, and here's what's all right. So, you guys that do the turbos and the turbo piping and the aftermarket shit, how do you expect somebody to align it? You guys see what I mean, right? Like, I was able to get to the front one right there and put that one thick, trying to get it to focus. There's one thick alignment shim right there. One thick one, so about 1/4 inch. But I got lucky that I didn't have to touch this back one because I cannot get to it at all, like no matter what I do. So I would have to take the wheel off. So I'd have to take the car back up, take the wheel off, take it, unbolt it from the backside, slip a shim in there, put it back together, put the wheel back on, set it back down, and see where it was at. Good thing I do alignments to where I know what I needed, this and that. So that spindle over there, how I measure from the ground up, or from my alignment plate up to the tie rod part of the spindle in the front, and that one was like 12 7/8. Well, this one was 13 and almost 13 1/4, 13 1/8, right in there. So I needed to shim this, just this front. And I got lucky enough to where I could get my wrench in there, a ratchet wrench. I just got it in there enough to undo it. I was able to get the pry bar in there just enough to spread it so I could get that thick. That's one of the ones that came off the car too, shims. I got it in there. So now I have both wheels in the front sitting exactly the same up and down. Just did the toe in, toe out. So it's 53 1/4. And here's one thing that I've never been perfect at. Obviously, I tell you guys all the time, I'm not perfect, right? So if you look at this front wheel from this angle, you'd swear it was turned a little bit, well, you'd swear it was turned to the left a little bit, right? Maybe, maybe not. Now, go over here, and you'd be like, okay, that might be a little to the left too, right? The front wheel. But look at the steering wheel. Steering wheel is a little bit to the left. So that's one thing I've never been able to get perfect, is the steering wheel perfectly straight. So if both wheels are pointing to the left a little bit, the steering wheel's a little bit, so it might be somewhat straight. If your steering wheel is off, that doesn't mean your alignment's off. If you pull your car up into a parking spot and pull it up straight and you got your steering wheel straight or whatever, you get out and you look at your wheels and your left front wheel is pointed right and your right front wheel is pointed left, yeah, then your alignment's off. But just because your steering wheel is not straight, and obviously with the aftermarket wheels and stuff like that, we got the center caps. You take the center cap off the steering wheel, your horn button, whatever, and you can make the Ford Giotto, whatever brand wheel you got, clink, turn it, make it perfect, whatever. But anyways, oh man, my body hurts. Doesn't hurt as much as yesterday. I don't know, just this shit just came out the blue. I feel like shit, but I gotta get it done. So yeah, turbo piping guys, this and that, turbo installers, this and that. Leave room, make some room somehow. Let us alignment guys and custom suspension guys know what the business is. And see, even though this is a bolt-on setup, it's custom how I did it. Anyways, my alignment plates, this one right here is lower to the ground than that one over there. So that's been throwing me off for years. And like I said, I did have another set and I ended up having to send them back because they weren't right, because they have two different kinds. See, now check this out. This is what my alignment plates. See this? I can move the car side to side, right? Those holes, those numbers, none of that shit means anything. That I don't need that. When you set the car down, you want the wheels to be able to relax. You want the suspension to be able to relax, meaning that when you set it down, it's, you know, the wheels spread out, everything sets. Why do you think when you look at the alignment racks and stuff like that at places, when they drive the car up on there, you see plates like those? And that allows the front end to relax, everything to relax. So that way, when they turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, turn the steering wheel all the way to the right, boom. They got the laser pieces that are hooked to the wheel or on the outside of the wheel, whatever, and they shoot up at the machine, and it tells them, you know, when they turn that way, you know, 10 turns, whatever the hell it is, whatever the number is that way and whatever the number this way, then they know to split the difference and this and that, whatever. But those, just let everything relax. Like right now, the shocks are set at 0. 0 and 0. These are double adjustable. 0 and 0. So I push the front end and then I let it settle where it's gonna settle. Then I can go through and I make sure that I don't pull down on the car when my fat ass is underneath of it. Make sure when I'm on top, I'm not pushing down on the car before I read where it's at. That's why I'll measure off of the plate up. And this is 28.5 inches from that plate up to the wheel opening. Now, give or take a quarter of an inch here, there, this, that, whatever. Right now, I do not, as you can see on the ground, I do not have the anti-roll, sway bar. Bolt on sway bar, clamp style sway bar on the back. I don't care for them. I'm all about anti-rolls. I don't care for that. Yes, it's narrowed. Yes, it looks like it's gonna clear everything. I don't have it on yet. So the back is a 1/2 inch off, which was causing the front to be a 1/4 inch off. So once I get that on there, but my next step is I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna set the back. I'm gonna measure the springs, which I didn't measure. So I'm gonna measure the gap that I have, this, that, whatever, and I'm gonna see where the difference is back there. Then, once I have the back level on the ground while it sits like this, then I'll set that up and get it on there. So that'll be the last thing that I put on is that. The heater is gonna turn on behind me. But yeah, I just wanted to say a couple things more about that, about alignments. I do that light glowing underneath there because my light is underneath there. And again, this guy is gonna get the Pro Forged full steering component kit. And we'll get that on there, but that's gonna be later. I just have to get this thing done for it to get picked up tomorrow. Well, it's gonna be later tomorrow, but whatever. All right, y'all, a couple more things. I'll get that sway bar on the back and show you all that. Back that up. All right, y'all, back on it. Everything is basically done. But here's what I wanna show y'all. See this bolt-in stuff, right? There's that bolt-in sway bar. Now, I had to, look how tight that setup is, right? So there was no way I was getting up in there and drilling those 2 holes. So I welded it and painted it, the top bracket. You can see it up there. Then I painted it, let it cool down, and bolted this back in. I got it all the way at the top hole. So it just clears here. So I already had the car down without this on it, and the car sat that low, and I was able to push the car up and down in the back and nothing hit. But here, you can see this setup to this setup. This is probably gonna hit this. So these tails need to be redone. Now, whoever did these tails, here, let me jump back to this real fast. So you see how tight this one is, all right? So you're like, okay, well, why didn't you run a link on this side, right? That would have made sense, kind of, right? Because this could be reversed. But now if you go to this side, very, very, very tight, all right? So I couldn't have put the link on the inside because you want them to be symmetrical, whatever you call it. Both sides look the same, blah, blah. This one, I have a little bit of an angle outwards at the top, but it's fine. You got the heim joints. So that bracket, when I tacked it, I was a little bit over. But I mean, it's not, you probably can't even see it on video. I'll be pointing out the dumb shit and see I'm a little bit that way on this one. Anyways, you can see the tabs where they had to come off because this clamp goes there. I just pushed this back over that brake line. Yeah, I could put a zip tie on it, this, that, whatever. But even if they would have welded the correct tabs on there, they would have still been in play. Now, when I say hard line, we got them soft brass lines now that I run straight across, and then I do the little fitting in here. So
changing pads, obviously you just pull the pin out. If you had to open the rear end and take the caliper out of the way, the caliper would move enough with that brass line to move out the way, hang it on the frame, whatever. Man, I feel like shit. Oh yeah, you guys can see all the adjustments here like I was showing before. So this pipe is way over this way. This clamp, look how this clamp is set up, right? Compared to this clamp. Why didn't they make that the same? Look at this clamp is on top. This clamp is on bottom, right? So you got stainless steel exhaust that's supposed to be badass. Now, is this a bought kit? I don't know. Did somebody make it? I don't know. I mean, obviously somebody made it. A lot of these guys out here be switching my words around and shit, are not looking at what I'm looking at. So the tie bars, like I said, this is too tight of an area to run the tie bar. And the tie bar is the bar that runs up. It takes the longer bolt here, goes in here, and goes up to the upper bolt on the back side, and takes the longer bolt up there. So if the exhaust was a better fit or whatever, but that side's that tight, and then this side is not as tight. These clamps, this one is this way, and this one is up top. You can see the rub mark on the drive shaft, so at one point, I don't know when it happened, but it rubbed. Oh, look at that, 2 rub points. A rub point there and a rub point there. So when did it happen? I don't know. But all this stuff, the clamps, whenever I bolt some shit together, I put stuff in the same spot, side to side, woo, whatever. Can he have somebody redo it? Oh yeah, of course. So now, I mean, this side, again, look, this is tighter. Huh, they're about the same tight. I got a finger. Yeah, it's tight. Yeah, they're the same. So, worst comes to worst, I'm gonna set it down, and we're gonna hear a clang clang of the exhaust and rear end. Now, I had the car sitting down on the ground already, and I had it measured out, and I have had it all the same measurement side to side in the front, same measurement side to side in the back, but you can see the threads that I have sticking out on this adjustable link, which this is not a double adjustable, which they have plenty of room to have made this a double adjustable. So now, in order to adjust this, you have to unjam it. Then you got to take that bolt out to be able to twist it, to preload it or whatever, instead of just making it a double setup here to be able to just unjam it, twist it, jam it. No, you got to do more work. So I don't like it. But anyways, look at how this side is. So the rear end was obviously hanging with all this stuff tight. And when it sat down the first time, and then I adjusted the shocks and made it level, and then I put it up in the air and put the sway bar on it. So if you look here, we're right at the top of the control arm with this nut, right? We're right at the top of this one. So this arm is in the same location as that arm, height-wise. So why is that different? And there's 3 holes on the top. Let's see if I can get you up there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's 3 holes for that top bolt to go through for adjustments. Obviously we can't go lower because, I mean, it's close, but it wouldn't hit there. So that part, I don't know. That would be goofy if I took this one and tightened this one all the way in and then put it at the second hole and left that one at the top hole. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Could I be off with how this is clamped on? You know, like maybe it's rotated, but I've measured that out too, and it's coming out the same on both sides. So I'm very close with those. Or maybe it's just there for all the adjustments that need to be. they give you the adjustments. If you look back here, yeah, I got the light underneath there, but I think it's pretty square. I don't know. I'm gonna set it down here and we'll take a look at it. And then it'll be test drive time. The rear end is squared up. This lower, let's see, the left lower, if you look at how many threads are back there, a little bit of threads, right? This one over here, a little bit less of threads. There was something, and that comes into play with these torque boxes. This one could be bent a little bit. We're just throwing that off, but measuring from points of the frame, holes in the frame, you know, 3 different measurements, and you come up with the same number, make it the same number. You can get it square, obviously. That's how you make the rear end square. You can't go off of the body. But once I squared the rear end up with the arms and all that and measuring to the rear end, the body did end up being an inch right here on both sides. So, but not all the time you can do that, because when quarters get put on, I know everybody's seen me, heard me talk about that before. But yeah, it should be all good. The only thing I'm expecting is it's probably gonna hit the pipes, and he can go to the exhaust shop and have them fix it, or have somebody that, you know, does exhaust. This one, oh yeah, look, that one doesn't stick out as far as this one. This one, they were talking about that the other day, and this whole pipe is over more, so I think this one does stick out more. And that, oh yeah, see, this one is like back towards the back of the car more, and this one is out more. Which, whatever, nobody's gonna see that, but. All right, y'all, let me get it back on the ground. I'm gonna light from underneath there before it goes dead, and then I forget it's underneath there. And I'll be back, back that up. All right, this is the final stance of the car that I like. So as you can see, the front is a little bit higher than how it was sitting before. But negative side is that the back, those clamps on the exhaust are hitting, excuse me, the clamps on the sway bar, the bolt-on sway bar setup, are hitting the pipes. So how the tailpipe goes up and over the rear end, there's way more room for that pipe to swoop up and come over. They have them like where they just barely go over the top of the rear end. Now when it came in with the 2s and 4s on it, the backs, these 4, they had the ass in, jacked way up. So like the car sat, you know, like this, right. But I got that little tuck to the back compared to the front. It looks fucking killer. Why would you want the ass in higher than the front? I understand some of you guys want it to be level, but man, it looks killer. So I'm gonna call them and let them know, but I'm still gonna do a video of it outside so you guys can see it all the way around. But I'll take it off the lift now, back it out, do your video, but I'll call them and let them know. All right, I'll be right back. All right, y'all, there it is. Took it for a test drive, cruising down the road. I didn't get in it much, but I'll take a turbo V6 over LS any day. The way this car is right here, man, this car is perfect. Out of all the cars I've done, this, that, whatever, this would be the one right here. But I'm gonna check the tire pressure, because normally everybody be putting them at 40 pounds. I mean, it doesn't rot bad, but you can feel that it's on the pipes back there. So he gets the pipes taken care of, it'd be good. But the tires might be a little stiff. They probably got them up like a 40. But so the front is a 450 spring, like I said. double adjustable QA1s, and the front I have at 5 and 4. 5 on compression, 4 on rebound. The back you can't tell, but I got the back at 3 and 2. But you can't tell because I was riding the exhaust. So, anyways. There it is. I tried to call. There wasn't no answer. But yeah. Very, very light pull to the right, which normally old schools. I mean, very, 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 very light. So, the steering wheel is pretty straight, pretty damn straight for not having a machine, laser machine. But we still got to put the Pro Forge components on there, full steering components on Pro Forge. We'll do that when he gets that stuff. But the car is cool. I think it's still got to go back to get some tuning or something. Oh, it's got a exhaust leak. But like I showed you guys that exhaust, you can see bottom. But the cross pipe that goes across the bottom, there's a clamp. And then somebody tried to silicone it or something. There's some orange silicone in there. But like the bolts, for it being a stainless steel exhaust, all them bolts with them clamps and bolts, the bolts should be stainless steel, but they're not. They're that zinc shit. I think one of them is stripped out. But anyway, that's not my business. Alright, y'all. Bankroll 10 better up. I'm out. I'm gonna put this video up.